welcome back if you're following along. We last left off kind of finishing the final, not final, but more or less some polish on the new job form here. We're on just the step one of this form, so I will go back through with a fine-tooth comb and probably edit maybe the UI of the tricks editor here and just maybe undo. I don't need attachments in here or code samples and anything like that and that kind of formatting, so we'll actually, I think the only way to get rid of those is to hide them with CSS, which is kind of sad. But aside from that, just some obvious things with positioning and whatnot will be attended to. But I think in this video, I'm going to do a few housekeeping items and start on our preview look and feel. So what I'll do is kind of fire that up and get that rolling in the Vue source. So right now we've actually integrated some local storage. So I visited this page from last time and the data is already there still because it's saved in my browser. If we look in my storage of the browser, we can look in local storage and actually see that data is in a form element or form key, and then the values are all here as an object, and then the prototype and everything underneath is there. And then the Vue tricks editors, in particular, these big WYSIWYG editors are actually their own component with local storage. So we've got two, one for the company description and one for the job description itself. So as you enter a job and post it, you'll enter those and kind of have that realization that it's all going to save based on your state. So that's kind of nice. Because anything in a WYSIWYG or a step form like this, the last thing you want to do is go back and re-enter data that you already entered, I think. So I'm glad we kind of accomplished that task. So the preview here, basically what I want to do is take the content from the preview and then, or the content from the job details and just publish it in the preview, kind of giving you a look and feel of how it might look in the actual published description or job feature. So what we can do is make that. So I'm going to go back into our app. I have a part 14 branch that I checked out and am running right now. And I have, just so you know, I have Rails running, of course, and then Web Dev Server running in the background too. So any changes we add we're doing hot module reloading with Webpack under the hood. So you can see those updates happen in real time. So great. What I'll do for the preview is essentially go through to our JavaScript components. The store, to make our lives a little easier, I might just make our step default to 2. And that way when we actually visit this path, it's going to just save that way when we visit Rails jobs.new. And that'll be good to go. Our logo here is the only thing that links back to the origin site. And that's kind of on purpose because this is, if you think of an e-commerce checkout flow, they kind of block you from going back. It seems like a dark pattern, but there are times where it actually, keeps you in the checkout flow and wanting to do that stuff, wanting to actually kind of commit to making a purchase. So little tips and tricks in the industry there. So the preview, let's take a look at that now. We have the component itself, but nothing really there. So we just have our pagination or our next and back buttons and then the title. So what I want to do is essentially pipe stuff through, and I'm going to use Tailwind, of course, and do some grid, CSS grid. We're going to do, I think, let's say a 12 column grid, and then we'll space things accordingly. So on the large screens, we'll keep it full width to 12 columns, and then on small, we'll go back down to grid col 1 so it stacks. So that will make more sense when I show you the mobile component here. So on the left hand side, if you think of a layout of a page, I want to have a little bit of a wider margin on the left than the right. So the right will have like a sidebar component. So maybe we'll do just on large screens col span 3, and then on this we'll have col span 9. So 9 plus 3 is 12, of course. So then we'll have that ready to roll. So we could just say left and right and save. There we go. So now that stuff's spaced accordingly. If you really want to see how this looks, we could say border red. Just to prototype that out, you'll see this like so. Now with grid, you can add grid column or grid spacing. So it's called grid gap when you actually write the CSS, but in Tailwind, you could just say gap and whatever figure. Maybe I'll do 10 there, and that should kind of put some space in between these. Perfect. So I'm going to lose the border for now. And inside each of these, we'll have the main bread and butter of the job posting. So the main thing I want to get through is the store.job description. I think we'll go back to our store to get the actual, yeah, we're going dot. So we've got our form object, our job object, and then the actual key item. So we'll have to say store.form.job.description, and that should pipe things through. And we should see, hopefully, some content there. Let's see what's going on under the hood, if I have any errors. Interesting. So if I go back, we just have hey. So maybe I'll add some more content there. I'm going to grab a little tool I use that generates some ipsum for me and paste those in. There we go. Continue. So there we go. So I needed to kind of go forward and back. The issue with this is you see that it's got HTML piping through. I think we can do, let's do a div, and we could say v_html and then pass that prop through instead. That way it kind of sanitizes it and displays as HTML. It's a little trick for you there if you have to run into that. So sadly, I need to do this again. So continue. There we go. So now it displays as we need to, as rich text in a sense. So with that in mind, I wonder if I can grab this stuff without having the store set, because this is going to get annoying fast. I'm not sure. I think I'll just continually click back and forth for now, but that's annoying, I know. But the main things we need, of course, are the job title. So we'll say that above this, maybe we'll do a h2 tag, add that through. Something like so. That's not going to really display because we need to go back and then forward again. And there we go. Product designer. We probably want font black and then maybe 3XL because the preview up the top is a little bigger. This is going to get old fast. So preview, we probably don't even need the preview text, so I'm going to lose that and just add the title there instead. There we go. So we'll lose the H2 after all. Cool. And that should do that part. And the description here, we probably want some padding in between the call span. So I might do an interior div just to deal with that. And add some padding, so just general padding there. Not ideal, but it works. And maybe just the top and bottom. And the right. So PY is 6 and then PR 6. Maybe just on large screens too. On the right. There we go. So that's going to offset on the right a little bit. And this might need to be a little less wide actually. So 4 for the right, because we want to kind of have a little widget preview on the left. Or right, excuse me. That's kind of just an overview of it. So again, the title, we want the company name. I don't know if I wrote it like that or like that. Company name. Yeah. And of course we want the link to store.form.job.link to apply. I think we need, don't need those. And then we could just say apply. That's going to link to the job link that's passed through to the initial form. We could say target blank, something like that. And then we could add like a button class, button red. I'm not sure if I did that right or not. So we've got apply. Yeah, it's red. Button expanded. Sometimes I add this class as a default. I don't have that though. So let's see, buttons. It should work though. Button expanded. There we go. For some reason that's not text align center. Okay. So again, issue with the state. If I go next and back, is it still there? Yeah, okay. So during our pagination, everything works, but normally if you go and refresh the page, it's kind of wonky. So in fact, I might just kind of go back to starting on step 1, because we're gonna have to do this anyway. So every time we'll just hit continue and then see our state. Cool, so product designer, we've got our actual title here. Maybe I'll do another title. Text center on this bit too. This is going to be like an overview of the job, more or less. On the left side, we'll have the company details and the job details. So font black, text large. There we go. Product designer Apple, apply, and then we could do up at the top. We can say v div, maybe that v if, or no, we could just do the image tag. Source will be store dot form dot job dot company logo, and I think we could just do v if store dot form dot job dot company logo. Alt, we can pass, combine that one too, and pass the store dot form dot job. That's getting repetitive. I could probably do like a helper to add that, but I'll leave it alone for now. Store dot form dot job dot company name. Let's see if that works. Something's not right there. So we're not displaying the image. Maybe if I just do this, will display. Just the alt's displaying. So what do I have wrong here? Company logo. What is it saving as? A base URL. Okay, so it's not even saving for one. We need to make that work. Oh, okay, it's local image, or logo image, excuse me. So, this might have been one I missed previously. So when we set up our file attachment, we're saving it to local storage. So when we do that, file select, local storage, we can't really bind it to the same form element. It's a kind of different concept. So what we could do instead is get that data back as a method maybe, or a computed property. I'm trying to think what's the best route to go here. Okay, so yeah, computed property I think is going to make the most sense. Computed. And what we'll do is just access that local storage value, which we've basically determined previously as its own separate local storage key value. So the reason for that is merging that into the original form object is a little tough, and I just kind of went the easy route and added a new element. I think it's called logo image. Yeah. So we've got this computed property now. It's going to return that item if it exists. So we can say logo image, and we'll just display that if it's actually there. And I think what we can do is that, but we need to check first if so we set that. I want to double check I'm setting that in our this.company image. We need to set that in our actual file attachment too, so we aren't doing that as I just noticed. So I think we'll just leave it alone for now. Yeah. See if that works regardless. I don't know if it's going to because we said the if, so instead I'll do logo image. That should work in this case. Yeah, there we go. It's just a picture of me, so nothing to look at there. Class will say rounded full width. Let's set a hard width. Maybe a border 2, border black. If it's got a white background or a clear background, I kind of want it to be obvious. There we go. So something like so, and then we could say inline, I think, should do the trick on centering it. There we go. And for this whole area, let's give it some background adjustment, just a slight tweak, and then we'll add some padding to that. Rounded, large, shadow, maybe some shadow. Makes it stand out a little bit in a different way. Yeah, that's all right. Might make this a little bit wider now that we've got this space. Didn't really work, did it? There we go. I like it where it was based on what we had. I might make this that way. Shadow, we might do just a basic shadow. Let's be a little less dramatic. There we go. And I kind of would prefer this to be kind of up to the top of the title tag there. So it looks like there's some margin in the way of that. So instead of H1 being there, we can just put it there. And maybe instead of that padding, we'll just have it on the right. There we go. So now they're aligned. Cool. That's a start. So on the right, I want to have a lot more details than that. So we've got the company, which is good. So class, maybe an offset gray here. And some offset on the margin. That gives us that way to kind of signify the Apple there. Apple will have a link to that company as well. So maybe Within the P tag, we'll have an A tag. And we'll bind this one to the store.form job.company website. And if we don't have a website here, we kind of want to render it nil. I wonder what's the best way to do this. Maybe I could just do, it's kind of gross, but span v-if. I mean, I'm going to require a website, so I'm not sure I really need to do this, but works all the same. It's just repetitive, which isn't always ideal. So now I've got the link and everything, so we could say blank again on the target. We can style that for sure. So now this one links because we have a link to it, but it's not quite a noticeable link, so maybe I'll add just a standard underline. And on the main button, I think this is what I'll add offset to, margin top. So we'll go back down. There we go. Apple product designer. I might reduce, I'll just put margin bottom here. Letting tight on that. Maybe put some margin on that image below it. If inline might make that rendered useless, yeah. Maybe we could do, let's do it on the top of this then. So margin top 4. There we go. A little too much for my taste. And okay, cool. So that takes care of the company and the photo and the apply link. So we need general details about the role. So next we could say let's see, remote or not. So let's do the kind of the same pattern. v-if store.form.job.remote. Okay, remote. And I'll make this a small. What else we got? Years of experience. I think that's a requirement. So we'll just say instead of the span, I'll just output that. And I might just make this a span tag too, and we can just say that all in one line. Get rid of that one, that one. I'll do the same for this. If it's if it is not remote, we'll say on location. And then finally on this one, we'll say years of experience. should get us. Oh, I got some bug going on. What's the issue? Can you not do inline ifs like that? Oh, we could just do else. Doesn't really need to be. Does that not work? Doesn't look like it. Dang it. Okay. Oh, you know why? I'm trying to close a span with a p tag. So let's try that again. There we go. Same with this one. All right, let's see if this works now. Still an issue. Yep. Still an issue. There we go. Remote and 6. So we could just say tag on years of experience here. Which, how could we phrase that? Required? Might break this to a new line. Okay. Maybe we can add like a small heading here that says job details. And then we could do text extra small. I like to do this. I call it eyebrows headings, but I think they're called sub. What are they called? I've seen them called something else, something headings. Essentially, you capitalize the letters, small text that's bold, and then you can increase the text or letter spacing, and it kind of gives this impact of a nice divider section, but still a heading. It's not too in your face, something like that. And then we can add like a text gray, kind of just not so in your face of boldness, to give it that kind of sub feel, if that makes sense. So maybe I'll left align that section too, so we can do a big ol' wrapping element around that bit. It should auto format for me. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so remote, 6 years of experience required. We might come back through with some icons, I'm not sure. And what else do I want to put there? Anything useful? Compensation type. Maybe that will go. There we go. Remote, full-time, 6 years of experience required. Obviously, product designer does not fit into the Rails devs category. I should have probably prefaced all that with this. It's just a demo content here, but that's kind of the look and feel. Nice. So that's a start. I think there's more details we can hash out there. So let's say if it's full-time, we need to do some logic here. So if store compensation type is equal to full-time. I think I typed it like so. Let's double check our field real quick. So its compensation type would be, yeah, full-time or contract. So if that else, oops, I could clean all of this up way more. We're repeating a lot, so I might come back through and do that, but We'll change this to v else. Basically, we only have two, so we don't need to worry about another else if. And then if this is the case, we'll say store.form.job.compensation type will be like part-time in this case. And then we could say maybe another, I'll make this a div, and this too, just cause. And then inside the div, we can have the p tags be part-time if that's not full-time, and then we could say store.form.job.estimated hours, I think is the final one I ended up with on the actual store. I'll show you where I got that in a second. This one right here. So if I'll go back to the base here. If we go to contract in this case, we're going to get this selector, and then we can come back through. It's 36. So there we got contract 30 through 60 hours. And we could say an estimation there. So on our preview, we could do maybe that tilde, kind of an estimation signifier there, and that didn't work. There we go. Maybe we'll butt it up against that though. Cool. And then applying will go take you to the actual link to apply. And then on the main layout, we've got up here, I might make this its own component, so maybe I will. So folder, I'll do a preview, and then I'll say, let's see, preview sidebar dot view. I have some snippets installed, so I'll just type insert snippet. VBase is what I typically use. So instead of this, we can go back to this call span and just use that entire div as our component. I'm going to paste it into here. We need to do a couple things to make this work though. First, save that down. We need this computed property over in this component now. And we need to declare in this file that component. So import preview sidebar from preview sidebar, save that down, declare the component. Then finally render the component right here. So I like to use the kebab case personally. You can use the camel case if you want to. So here is going to be the preview content. This is all just housekeeping to keep this tidy and easier to decipher. So I'll do the same thing. I'm going to say view snippet. Shit. Get rid of that. Paste that in. We shouldn't need anything because the store is global, which is why I used it. I think it's very useful in this context. Might put this one first. Save that down. Sidebar, we'll do the same with content. And we should be square. Let's see if we get any bugs besides the norm. Like so, working. Awesome. One thing I noticed is the padding between the top is a little janky, so we might need to increase that, but I think it's okay. I would like to kind of mimic like this title for the company and job description here. So I'll do that in the content component. I'm going to go borrow that markup, this one right here, and go into the contents. And above the job description, we'll have that, and then the same in the company description. We can just check first if the company's got a good description. So VF store, store, what the hell? There, store.form.job.company description. Basically, just if it's present, we'll do this. And we still need our actual like closing p tags, so we could say company description, and the same with this one. Job description. We could just say just description. I think that makes more sense. Okay. I hate the way this formats right now. Whatever though. Okay, let's see how that looks. Cool. That's what I'm after. So we do have a company description. It's not one that's, I don't think, very awesome, but let's do the same thing as we did here, since it's going to be an HTML output from that tricks library. So company, that gives us our preview and our content. Good to know. We can do maybe a little offset here. I'll do it 6. In fact, since this one's conditionally rendered, I won't target that one per se. I don't like to depend on that stuff. So instead, I will do margin bottom here. And then finally, if there is anything on this, we'll do another margin. No, we'll do it on the button at the bottom, I think. So in this content area, I want to add an apply link as well. So I will do that here. And let's borrow pretty much the same content from here. Maybe make it a larger button though, and not expanded. I think I have the variant to make it large. Yeah, there we go. And instead of apply for this role, something like that. And then we could do some offset on top and bottom in this case. Cool. Now the red buttons are glaring in my opinion, so we need to maybe make the next and back buttons absent from the actual view here. I might fixate them at the bottom, so maybe I'll do that real quick. Instead of having them just at the global state, you know. So instead we can just add this component. Not even add a component, we'll just fixate. I need to set a full width. If it's fixed, it's just going to stay in that same spot on the bottom. So we can say BG white, maybe a border top, and see what happens there. We will need like a flex, justify between item center. I'm trying to visualize how this will look. So this won't really matter here, but here you can see how it's fixed down here now, which is kind of neat. We need some padding for sure. So PY, maybe 3. Nice. Okay. Large. We'll add some padding, like decent. A little too much there. Same. You could just like offset like that. Cool. That should work. I don't really love the red buttons now, so BG black might be what we use here, and then we could say like BG white button outline maybe. if that would compile. There we go. The only issue now is that they're backwards. So let's do that. Just like so. Maybe I'll do a slight opacity with this. So BG opacity is 75. There we go. I don't like that much either. So maybe it will be, let's go check out Tailwinds. Oh, I have my like old ass config. We can update this. Yeah, let's do that real quick. So Tailwind, you can extend the default theme. So install. Yeah, extend. So basically we just need to write extend if we change anything in here. I don't think I really changed anything yet. So what I'm gonna do is ditch everything. And what we want to extend is, let's see, BG opacity. Should tell you how to extend it here. Yeah, there we go. So something like this. Like this. I need to update my kickoff Tailwind template. I'm trying to make a note for myself to do that. Basically, nowadays with Tailwind, you can extend the default theme just by passing this object and just passing your custom stuff. And then under the hood, it's already going to do the default stuff for you if you don't already customize it. So it's a nice to have for sure. So let's go back to our site, jobs, new. I still should add a damn link to click that. So there's that. But if we go into our preview now, we can do 95, which will still be opaque, but not too much. Unless I'm mistaken. Maybe we can try 80 just to verify it's working. Hard to say. We do this. I don't see it. Okay, yeah, I do. I just saw it. Slight stroke. It might be hard for you guys to see, but I can see that it's slightly transparent, which is what I want. So good. Cool. So we've got our back and next. In this case, I'm going to do the same for the continue button below. So we'll kind of just mimic that div here. We could make this a component, but I don't know if I want to. Maybe I could and make a slot. So maybe I'll say pagination. You have to use 2 words. It's a convention. It's a weird one. So snippet vbase. So what we could do, I think, is pass this div in, and within here just have a slot. Probably just get rid of that. Go into preview, and we could say form pagination, and then surround where the div's at with these. And I'll need to import that. This won't be in preview, be in components. Just redo this part. So here, components, form pagination. Okay. Save that down. Let's double check that works. It does. Sweet. Sweet. Okay, so let's do the same thing in our other phases of the WYSIWYG. So here we can just do form pagination. Oh my God. And we need to make the components. All right. Finally, on the information, the continue button. Okay, so we'll save that down. If it compiles here and see if that works. Oh, I need to declare it here. So form. Boom. Okay, so continue. This one I need to pass. This is going to be the interesting part. So form pagination, could we pass a prop to kind of declare which? I suppose I could override the CSS. I don't know if this will work or not. Nope. Okay, so let's see. We could pass in position end. So then on that, we could just say I deleted this script tags, but props will accept an object that's going to be position, and that's going to be required to be false, but the type will be a string. And then if, let's see, if position position does that work like that? Maybe I can. Let's see. Let's see. Kind of make it more granular. So if position kind of terrible, but let's just roll with that. So we could just say, in this case, pagination position. See if that works. I might have that wrong. Pagination reference during render. So I think I've got props wrong here. So property pagination is not defined on instance. Well, I know it's not, but should it be a method? Yeah. Still the same thing. Initializing the property. How does that work? Well, so could I just pass that all through as a prop and say screw all the rest? So on this, I just need to do position justify int. Does that overwrite it? Doesn't do anything at all. Okay, so let's just make it a requirement and see if this works. And get rid of this one. Okay, so that's doing the trick now, but we had to make it required. Yeah, okay. Weird. So continue. This is gonna be wonky because let's first make this button white. Outline. There we go. Now on the preview, we'll have the same thing, only just okay, so continues there. Next, back. Okay. I don't know if I like the white buttons, to be honest. Maybe I can do something different, like button teal, button gray. I don't even know if I have button gray. Yeah, I'm not in love with that either. Grr, I don't know what to do about colors on this app. Too much red is overkill. This doesn't look good at all. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I'm trying to make design sort of an afterthought while we get the basics done. I wonder if just Green would look Christmassy, so it's freaking hard. Let's go back to white. It's pretty neutral. It is what it is, you know. Okay, so continue will be in that form. Next, back, purchase. Cool. So we've got basically our look and feel down. Pretty happy with how this looks. I think it looks okay considering. We might need like share links and stuff in here. I'll get to that. I'm not too worried about it at the moment. I don't think anyone really uses that anymore. They just grab the URL. But apply works, goes to Google right now. But cool. I think I'll stop there. The next phase will be the purchase flow, so getting that up to date. And then one last thing I might do is add a link to this path to the main root app, because it's driving me nuts having to type it every time. So I'll do that in our layout real quick. Applications in our header. So header, right nav. We've got our basic stuff here. Instead of jobs, maybe I'll just add that. For whatever reason, the right is on the left and the left is on the right. What? Oh, because this isn't like flexed all the way. If I log out, what's it do? Let's go fix that up, because this isn't right. I think we'll leave that div there to kind of just do the whole. There we go. So log in, sign up, post a job. Maybe we can mimic these. Get rid of these. Let's say button transparent. There we go. So now it does something like that. Do the same for the rest of these. They look like crap. Button transparent. Okay, so maybe login and sign up could look a little different. They don't look that great just compared to the rest of the main call to actions. So maybe post a job should be the main criteria. That's kind of got some oomph. So button red, maybe teal for now. And then I don't like the ordering here or the positioning. So margin right to. And our logo looks kind of small to me as well. Can we make it bigger? Whoa, that doesn't work. There we go, something like that. Post a job. I feel like this should be over here, and these should come before it. Eventually I want to add like your avatar. If you're logged in, you'll just have your avatar there instead of anything else. That looks better, 'cause I like the action item way off to the right. And I feel like I'm just gonna lose. Maybe I'll add like a separator here, like that, and then do 2 text gray, like real light. Yeah, that's better. It's not perfect, but. And we'll lose this margin. Oops. Need to deal with all those pages still, so. Okay. Nice. So that works for now. Now we can go to this path. Oh, we need to update the route. So new job. And we can go, we have to log in. So let's do that. I think this is there. Cool. Now my stuff's there. I've already kind of started this form, so my data has been saved. We've got our preview, which looks pretty snazzy. Some work to maybe do here and there. I don't know. It looks okay for now. But then the purchase flow here, I'm thinking we'll have like a line item breakdown of what you are purchasing, maybe how long it is for. So I think a 30-day is kind of norm. Maybe we'll have it recurring. It's like a subscription, and then in that we'll have the cost, of course. Maybe some terms. Like I'd like to review every job before it's purchased personally. I think that's a safe bet to keep spam out and people from abusing the system. So I'll have that displayed, and of course the credit card form. So Stripe engage. So cool, guys. That's it for now. This has been a long one. Let me fix this back button real quick because it's red. And we'll close up from there. So I'll see you in the very next video. Look for this on the part 14 branch. And that's all for now.